Hello my beautiful friend, it's King Gabriel here again. Today's video is spirit, mind, body and why we focus on spirit. So, let's start with a definition of spirituality and what it really is. If you check a Webster's dictionary, you'll find that spirituality is defined as the concern for the human spirit and not for material or physical things. Now, I'm not going into asceticism or anything like that and saying that you have to be extreme about it, but it's just recognizing the order of things so that your life can be with ease, can function with ease. For instance, if you were trying to get something to change through, let's say, a printer, right, and you were trying to print out a specific file, it would be extremely difficult to do that by intercepting after the print comes out, trying to shift it around or change the words afterwards, right? It's kind of difficult, and that's what we struggle with here. Instead of going to the keyboard itself and making the changes to the document and then sending it through, we're trying to change it when it's already printed, right? And the understanding of that is paralleled with the order of spirit, mind, body, right? That's why the order exists. The spirit is the generative force. It is the thing that is in every single thing, present everywhere, right? It is the power of imagination, which allows the mind to have fuel to generate what it needs to generate by that focus. And it also allows that next level to come through, where the mind is given the power to materialize the thing or to bring it down in vibration to a physical manifestation. So that's the order: spirit, mind, body. Now, to try to change it on the body level directly is difficult. Again, it's like taking that paper up and trying to just make an edit here. It will always be flawed on some level, because you're actually addressing something that's already been brought completely into form, and you're trying to edit it by means that are not the means that were made for that edit. So understanding the mind is important, the second level, because on that mental level we have the choice, and this is where choice is, if there's any choice at all. Okay, and this is debatable. I don't want to go into that debate, so we stay right here. The choice level of either focusing the mind on spirit, right? And by focusing on spirit, there's an ease to life, because again, that generative force comes in, right? Or focusing the mind down into the body. And I only say down because it helps us to understand the ease with which these things happen. But down into the body, when we focus into the body, what happens is we feel the limits of the body. We feel the separation from the things around us, and we're thinking of a limited perspective instantly. When that happens, we're actually cutting ourselves off from our true power and the ease that we can achieve things with. So understanding that is important, because instead of turning to, let's say, the next physical means that you have to solve a problem, you'll find yourself firstly going back to the mind to be like, okay, so where did I create this? And that's one step up, right? But one step up from even where did I create this in the mind is, okay, if this is incorrect, then I know definitely that it stems from some sort of fear. It stems from me not loving as spirit does completely. Therefore, knowing that it is not love, right, I have to get back to that natural state of spirit, of love, of giving, of openness, right? So you use that as an opportunity to refocus instead of go the other way. And by refocusing, naturally, the order gets realigned, right? So that is why the spirit, mind, body order exists, and the understanding of it exists, and why we focus on spirit. Not because of some fanatic or fantastic, dreamy thinking or imaginative event, but because it's the only thing that actually makes a solid difference and can be used straight across the board, no matter what the problem seems to be, to resolve it, right? Because as you return to that, your perception shifts and the situation as well shifts. That's the difference. The situation shifts because you went back to the beginning. You went back to that keyboard, made the differences in the document, and then you sent it. And it's a brand new document after that. So that's what we're looking at. And the next thing to be really engaged in or to understand about this is that the body itself, I'm going to define a few more things here. The body itself is neutral. When I say it's neutral, the body actually reflects the consciousness of the individual to a certain degree. For instance, if you're a person that's always in a state of thinking thoughts that are not productive, that are filled with gossip and all of these different things, you'll find that in the body, that will be reflected. You'll find yourself carrying a lot of protection. You'll find yourself, and when I say carrying a lot of protection, you would put padding around yourself, right? That's sometimes what happens. There's going to be illness experienced because the mind itself is focusing on things that are not true. And that has to be presented in the body because it's neutral so that you can see it when it comes into form and make a change to it. That's the only purpose that the body really has. It's a communication device. And so when it makes a slight change and you see the slight change, you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening as a result of this thinking. Maybe I can change this thinking. That's it, right? The next level would be the mental level. Now the mind cannot create beyond itself. And when I say beyond itself, I don't mean beyond this body, because this body is not the whole thing. It's not the whole picture. You can feel a person enter the room behind you without looking. You can feel when somebody's about to call sometimes, or you feel an urge to call somebody and they call you and stuff like that. There's always communication outside of this limit. So this limit is not final. And that's just to understand that part. So if we actually are linked in that way and we're open in that way, then the mind is not limited to the body. So mind being beyond body, you know that the mind is capable of connecting beyond that. Now, it gets its imaginative power, generative power from the spirit, and it's able to share and communicate its messages in that way. So if the mind is focused in a healthy place and it's thinking of itself lovingly, which is the natural order from spirit, then the body will be healthy, and everything around you in your atmosphere will also be healthy. That which is unhealthy will come forward to be loved by you, accepted by you, so that it can be restored to that state, right? And the final, the spirit. The spirit is that level of generative love. It is the level of givingness, the level of sharing, the level of extension of the light that's within you, that's within everything else, but the awareness of that light going out, or that love going out, is what's necessary in order to be able to be connected, to be able to be at one, to be able to be at peace. And you find that your world shifts. Now, when I say your world shifts, I don't mean that you will see such a drastic difference in your world that it's like night or day. Now, you might. You just might. You might end up in a world of light, which is okay. But at the same time, you may experience that little subtle things in your world have shifted, where people who didn't used to talk to you may be talking to you. Animals and stuff may respond to you differently, and right now a chipmunk is passing right by here. But these things, in terms of the integration and the interaction with the environment, is all of a sudden different. And that is perception of self. The environment is the self as well. Now, I didn't want this video to be too long, but this is where it has ended. Again, the order is spirit, mind, body. And not because of some fancy marketing tool, but because there is an ease when things are taken from the spiritual perspective. So I am a spiritual teacher, as I've said before, and you may have seen that in all the works and stuff that I've put out. And the main reason for that is because that allows me to be able to create and help people to create in life with great ease and create the lives they desire. Because then that tool of imagination, and I say tool because it's not final at all, it's just a device that we use in order to have our desires fulfilled, in order to live the life that that same spirit would want us to live, because it is givingness, it is love, it is sharing, and we are like it. We are like it. We are of a likeness to that. So we're to experience that as well. And that is what's coming through us. So if we can use the imagination effectively, we then have a way to become and to show or to express that we are that. And that's what I wanted to say today. That's why the order exists. And again, always willing to help and talk. Hit me up. I'll put the info below this video as well, so that you can connect with me and we can go further together. Have a lovely day. Eternal love and infinite peace.